مقر الإذاعة والتلفزيون.
The final point I'd like to mention is the antithesis between present bitter antagonism and future reconciliation. And I would want to say that both in the Arab world and in Israel, there has been a tendency to draw an iron curtain in front of one and say, they are all the enemy, we are the people who are the victims, we have to be able to resist. I think in general it's true, people do want to resist. But look at the great resistors of the past. Look, somebody who's alive today, Mandela. What was the genius of Mandela? The genius of Mandela was to understand that in order to win the struggle for liberation in South Africa, the struggle against apartheid, it was necessary, first of all, to formulate a strategy and a goal that never changed. It never changed for the season. It never changed during the Cold War or after the Cold War. The goal was always the same. One person, one vote. Black, white, mixed, colored, one person, one vote. That is the principle of human rights, and that is the strategy of a people struggling for equality and self-determination. Now, the second part of the strategy, which was so important about South Africa and about Mandela, was that he realized that in order to implement this, he could never win the battle militarily. Military power never wins battles. I mean, it wins battles, but it never wins wars. What gave the battle in South Africa its victory was the moral high ground. The idea was to define the struggle on a higher plane than that of your enemy. Historically, Palestinians and Arabs have always done that. But unfortunately, they have lost the battle because they try to redefine it in terms of military confrontation, in which in the end we're always going to lose. The other place of struggle is on the moral principle of one person, one vote. That is to say, human equality based on the full realization of human rights. And that's the final point I want to make. That can never take place without two things. One, being able directly to address your enemy, as Mandela did, from the courthouse, which sent him to prison for 27 years, and then again from the Parliament building in 1994 when he addressed the entire nation, always to talk to the other. Not to talk in our part of the world, talking to the other means tanazulat. It doesn't mean that. It means you defend your point of view in a moral way. You cannot deal with the other without a profound knowledge of his or her culture, society, and history. And the second thing, of course, you can't do it just by talking. You have to do it in a mobilized and organized way, not by a group of poor people who are given arms and told to go fight while the officers sit at home and sip tea and watch television. That's immoral. Everybody is mobilized to the struggle, and this is beginning to happen now, not only in Palestine, but all over the world against the American war and American empire. The great failure, in my opinion, of what the United States is about to do in Iraq, to my great sorrow and shame as an American and as an Arab, it can never work because you cannot destroy the will of a people, and you can never destroy the power of an idea. And what is the idea? The idea is equality, coexistence, sustainable life. And whether it's in the case of the environment, whether it's in the case of the land, whether it's in the case of society, those are the principles that we must live in and struggle by, rather than ephemeral things or illusions about returning to the past or finding the golden age somewhere else. The present is our battleground, and knowledge is our main weapon. Thank you.